with the homeboy. Tipping in the toy, having chips ahoy, cookies, and these rookies still can't see us. A lot of people wanna be us cause we's the OGs. Real east side riders from the hood, and I wish niggas would come at me like it's all good. If y'all could, you probably do the same thing. Rap, slang, dope, pimp, hoes, or gang bang. And it's a goddamn shame, but now the babies is the ones blew down and flamed up, sagging with their neighborhood flag inside their pockets. Think they ain't, they even spray paint the sprockets on they bike, yelling what that east side like, getting high in the bleachers while the teachers on strike. Books collect dust on they shelf, parents either dead or gone, so they raise they self.
Hey everybody, it's Donovan Sadiq, the Donovan Sadiq Show. Hey, I've got a lot of questions in regards to the posts of the anti-Asian hate that is going around. A lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but some people think that my narrative that it's not true, and it is black people actually, attacking Asians, though they have no proof and can provide no proof of black people murdering 6 out of 8 people in a salon, a massage parlor in Atlanta, and all these people that are being caught that look like Caucasian white men to me, but they're saying that this stuff is going on. Are there incidences of black people and white people fighting? Yes. There's incidences of Hispanics and blacks fighting? Yes. Incidents of whites and blacks fighting? Yes. I mean, it happens, but is it race-based? No. Black people, again, have no reason to do that. Asian businesses are predominantly in black communities. That would be stupid for us to, or black people in general, to attack Asians when, if it wasn't for black people, a lot of Asians wouldn't be here right now. We opened the door for all these other groups to come into the country. But somebody asked me about, what do I think is the reason that there is tension? And don't get me wrong, there is tension within any group. You have Asian people that predominantly Asian, Arab, whatever group comes into the black community, they set up shops that we can't set up in our community. You don't see Asians in the Asian community and there's a black shop there. They won't patronize that shop. That's just a fact. If I set up a rib shop or something black owned in the Asian community, they won't patronize it because of group economics. And they're not supposed to patronize it. So I don't take that away at all. We're just saying, is there tension in any group? Yes, always going to be tension in any group. But we have to admit the fact that a white president, racist president, Donald Trump, it's amazing to me how some of my friends want to shit on black people and blame everything on black when a white racist president blamed the COVID thing on people from China, which thus here we are. The proof is in the pudding. Black people are not in a position of power to have any type of influence. White supremacy is the moniker of what this country is based on. So I'm not going to go into that because I don't want to go too far, but I want you guys to go check out this video real quick. It's just a quick video. How many of you guys remember the story of Latasha Harlins? It's the story of a young girl that was killed in South Central Los Angeles by a Korean lady in a convenience store or whatever. And it happened just before the Rodney King verdicts came down, and it was just really messed up. A Korean lady never did any time. The girl was killed in cold blood. This lady never served any time. She got 5 years probation. It was just a big mess. And I believe a lot of the tension is still stemmed from that situation and just the economic situation that black people are in, which is why reparations is so damn important for ADOS. Just because you got black skin does not mean you're going to get a check. If you are not a descendant of slaves in the United States, you will not get a reparations check, and you shouldn't get a reparations check. Just as if I was living in the Congo and the Belgians were going to pay reparations, how the hell would I get a check if my lineage is from the United States? That's the kind of stuff we're talking about. I want you guys to check out this video. I think this is a little bit of a history of it, where a lot of the schism happened. Black people are frustrated. We're always being pushed to the back of the line. We're always, if I was in Korea, let's just say, I'm just saying, and this is what I love about these other countries. They protect their jobs for their people. I'm not mad at that. I am not mad at that at all. But think about it. If I went to Korea, or I went to Japan, or I went to Africa, or I went to the Caribbean, or I went to South America, and I was able to set up shop in the Korean community or in those communities, and I'm making dollars, and those people are butt poor. They're constantly poor. Wouldn't you think some animosity and tension would not happen? That's human nature. No matter what they do, they continue to be poor, but yet these other people are coming to their country seeming to make money and get tax breaks and get all the breaks and everything. And these people are from the country. When I went to South Africa, people say, well, yeah, look at the South Africans. Well, again, South Africa to me has no excuse. And a lot of the African countries have no excuse for why their people are in the situation that they're in, because the majority of the country is black and African. And now they've got the majority rule, and they're being screwed over by their own people that look like them. They can't blame it on the white guy anymore, because the white people aren't in power up front. We know they're in power in shadow. So, but, their black politicians aren't standing up for them. This is why we do these shows, so that we can point out the same thing that's happening over there in Africa is the same kind of politicians we have here in America. They stand up and they don't do shit for black people. You have Maxine Waters, a couple of days ago, was out there with the Asians talking about Stop Asian Hate. That's great and that's fine, because her constituents aren't just black. However, she got elected on a reparations platform. The predominantly people that vote for her are black. When was the last time you saw Maxine Waters take up anything black? Represent anything black? Oh, that's right, WAP. That empowering song, that she takes up. That's not black. That ain't what we're talking about. So just check out this video, and again, these are like the little things that we need to talk about, but this is where the tension comes from. Again, I do not see where black people are attacking Asians as the narrative on the national media tried to do, and say that, oh, black people are attacking Asians. That is not true. You guys know it's not true. I know it's not true. Total bullshit. Total bullshit. Every arrest that has been made in general that has made the national news has been a white Caucasian male. Wow, the very same person that keeps fucking with black people. Isn't that something? I'm Donovan Sadiq. Hey, join me a little bit later on the Donovan Sadiq Show, and join me on my podcast, Unapologetic. I'm Donovan Sadiq. You guys have a great day. See you guys on the War Zone.
In 1992, the Los Angeles riots tore through the city, bringing complete destruction to the community and its businesses. As the world watched, news stations played over and over again the brutal video of Rodney King being beaten by the police and the acquittal that came a year later, leading most to believe that this was the only reason behind the city's anger. But what so many people didn't see on the news was that just 2 weeks after the Rodney King beating, there was another brutality caught on camera, one that fueled racial tensions in LA and had rioters shouting the name Latasha Harlins. Latasha Harlins was born in Illinois on January 1st, 1976. When she was 5, her mother and father moved the family to Los Angeles, California, in the south area of LA. But just 2 years after the move, Latasha's parents got a divorce. Her father left town, and Latasha and her 2 younger siblings stayed with their mother. Tragically, not long after, Latasha's mother was found murdered outside of an LA nightclub. Latasha was 9 years old. After her mother's death, Latasha was put in the care of her grandmother and aunt who raised her and her brother and sister. As a kid, Latasha was described as being fun and full of energy. She was an honor roll student and had dreams of becoming a lawyer. But on March 16, 1991, those dreams came to an end. It was Saturday morning in Los Angeles. The city of LA had been on edge for weeks ever since the police beating video of Rodney King was released to the news media just 13 days earlier. 15-year-old Latasha Harlins, who lived in South Central, decided to stop at the Empire Market near her house to get some orange juice. Empire Market was owned by Korean husband and wife Billy Hwang Kai-do and Sunya Do. The couple had bought the mini market a few years earlier and was just one of a number of Korean families who had been purchasing businesses in South Central neighborhoods since the early 1980s. Normally, Billy Hwang Kai ran the front of the store with his son, but that morning he was working on the outside of the market, so his wife Sunya Do was at the register. At around 10 a.m., Latasha entered Empire Market and immediately walked to the back refrigerator section of the store and grabbed a small $1.79 bottle of orange juice from the cooler. Latasha put the orange juice in the back pocket of her backpack and proceeded to the front counter with $2 in her hand. But before Latasha had a chance to show her money, Sunya Do accused her of trying to steal the juice. Sunya reached over the counter and grabbed Latasha's backpack. Latasha pushed back. Sunya then grabbed Latasha's sweater, and Latasha pushed back again, knocking Sunya down. Attempting to end the confrontation, Latasha tossed the bottle of orange juice on the counter and walked towards the door. Seconds later, Sunya reached under the register, grabbed a .38 caliber handgun, and fired, hitting Latasha in the back of the head and killing her instantly. Court documents later revealed that Latasha had died with the $2 still in her hand. The entire incident was caught on surveillance camera. The killing of Latasha Harlins added to the already tense relationships between African Americans and Korean Americans in South Central during the 80s. In the book The Contested Murder of Latasha Harlins, author Brenda Stevenson noted that tensions had been building for years between the majority black community who lived in South LA and the Koreans who ran businesses there. Korean store owners believed black customers were dangerous and more likely to shoplift, while black customers accused Korean store owners of being racist and disrespectful. These beliefs from each side created anger and hostility in the community that sometimes turned violent. As the public debated both sides, Sunya Do in the case of Latasha Harlins went to trial. 51-year-old Sunya testified on her own behalf, claiming that the shooting was in self-defense and that she believed her life was in danger. Court documents show Sunya testified that although she could see the orange juice in Latasha Harlins' backpack, she remained suspicious, feeling that if Latasha had intended to pay for the juice, she would have had the bottle in her hand. Security footage proved Sunya's claim of shoplifting to be false, as it showed Latasha approaching the register to pay for the juice. The security footage also contradicted Sunya's claim of self-defense, as the video showed Latasha walking away during the time of her death. The jury found Sunya Do guilty of voluntary manslaughter and recommended the maximum sentence of 16 years. However, the trial judge, Joyce Carlin, threw out the jury's sentencing recommendation and instead sentenced Sunya to 5 years of probation, 400 hours of community service, and a $500 fine. Sunya received no jail time. Judge Joyce Carlin explained her decision in a statement at sentencing, saying, "Did Miss Do react inappropriately to Latasha Harlins? Absolutely. But was that overreaction understandable? I think it was." Judge Carlin added that she believed it unlikely that Sunya would ever commit a serious crime again. After Sunya's sentencing, Latasha Harlins' family, as well as the community, was outraged. Denise Harlins, Latasha's aunt, held marches and protests demanding justice for her niece. But later, a state appeals court unanimously upheld Judge Carlin's sentencing. This intensified the feelings in the community of anger and frustration with the criminal justice system. The LAPD tried to calm tensions throughout the city by disputing reports that Latasha's shooting was racially motivated, and the president of the National Korean American Grocers Association released a statement asking the public to see the incident as a dispute between store owner and customer and not a racial event. But these statements only caused more racial divide. 6 months later, in April of 1992, while the Latasha Harlins verdict was still fresh on everyone's mind, the Rodney King verdict was announced. Not guilty. Within hours, violence erupted on the streets of South LA and quickly spread to Koreatown. By the time the riots ended, 5 days later, more than 60 people had been killed, over 2,000 were injured, and nearly 6,000 looters and arsonists were arrested. The rioting destroyed Koreatown. It's estimated that almost 3,000 buildings were damaged or destroyed, and that approximately 2,000 of those buildings were Korean-owned. Sun Ya-do and her husband's store was one of those businesses. Empire Market was looted and burned to the ground, and it never reopened. Following the riots, the LA Times reported that the LAPD blamed the city's unrest on the Rodney King verdict, but that most Koreans believed that they were targeted because of the death of Latasha Harlins. Despite this, months after the riots, leaders from both the African American community and the Korean American community got together, calling for a time of healing. And over 30,000 demonstrators gathered in the same spot the riots took place, marching for racial solidarity. It's now been almost 30 years since Latasha Harlins was killed. Her story has inspired numerous books, movies, documentaries, and songs, with the most notable being Tupac's song, Thug's Mansion. Latasha Harlins is now remembered not as a symbol of hate, but as a symbol of why we need peace. And to this day, Latasha's family still holds a vigil every year in her memory, bringing awareness to what racial divide can cause, if not addressed.
All this racism and hate going on and people being pitted against each other. Please don't believe the hype. Support one another, all nationalities, because we're going to need it.